The world is changing as we know it. Psychedelics is part of that change. A therapeutic movement on improving people's lives for the better. What is it? How does it work? What does this all mean? This is a special conversation with Dr. Christian Krueger from the University of Wisconsin Madison and the research partnership with Revive Therapeutics.
All right, this is bringing psychedelics to life with Revive Therapeutics, and happy to be joined this week with Dr. Christian Krueger, researcher at the University of Wisconsin Madison. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, Shad. Thanks for having me on this week.
Great to have you. How's life been in Wisconsin last 6 months or so?
Living the dream here. You can't beat the gorgeous weather in Wisconsin in the summer. Winter might be a little different story.
Yeah, it's always good to be in nature this time of year, but no Big Ten football this fall. Unfortunate, right?
Yeah, it's a real bummer. You know, everybody's coming back. The students are here. The activity level should be really high, and unfortunately, we can't kick off a football.
Yeah, different year, that's for sure. So let's begin. Obviously, you guys have a partnership with Revive Therapeutics. So Revive and your team at the University of Wisconsin Madison have been hard at work developing oral thin films. So this development now enters the second generation. Why is this pivotal?
Well, you know, one of the really interesting things here is the composite materials that we're using to develop the delivery platform, the dissolvable strips, is really a very interesting platform in that it is derived from natural products. So we're natural product chemists. We work with botanicals and other organisms. And so we have the abilities to manipulate these composite materials for different properties. And these can be tensile strengths, flexibilities, and loading capacity. So right now, as we're working through our research project with Revive, we're looking at different prototypes and different iterations to really find the sweet spot for the attributes that are most meaningful for the delivery of the active compounds and for the consumer preference.
So as we talk to our audience, like everyday investors, and we want to have like a simple understanding. So what is the clinical relevance to these thin film strips?
Well, the strips themselves make for a very nice delivery platform. So what we're doing is working to incorporate the active drug compound into the strip itself. Okay. Over a range of concentrations. And this would be from the 1 milligram range all the way up to 25 milligram range. Okay. So micro dosing to macro dosing. And the idea here is to put a delivery of one therapeutic dose in one single strip so that the end consumer can take these on an as needed basis. So we really want to be able to have then control over the composition of the delivery vehicle, the film, and then the loading of the active component.
So to hear it from a doctor, explain to me in simplistic terms, what is microdosing?
Microdosing is a dose at which the active compound is delivered at a level that is sub-psychedelic. Okay. So it isn't a level at which one would have a complete psychedelic experience. It is really just trying to target and look at what are some of the minimally functional levels that this compound can have a therapeutic effect.
What are you studying in the dosages? And when it comes to microdosing, like why is it so important?
The idea behind microdosing is to enable individuals to have access to the therapeutic product more on an as-needed basis. So the idea that Revive has is that if you can develop this, the individual that is having an episode which needs immediate addressing, they wouldn't necessarily have to be in contact with a medical physician and have direct oversight. Right. That the idea would be the microdosing would be at a level that would be both safe and effective for the individual to address their immediate need. And I think this is something that's really interesting. The majority of the research to date on psilocybin and other psychoactive compounds really has been at the macro dose level to incite that psychedelic experience in a very controlled and observed environment. So Revive is looking a little bit outside that box to say, well, there probably are some opportunities beyond macro dosing that really need an investment in the research and the basic research. And that's where we're headed with the initial prototyping of the products that we're working on.
Dr. Krueger, how big, I guess, is this partnership with Revive?
This is a long-term relationship. So Revive has been working with our research program at the University of Wisconsin for going on, somewhere 3 to 4 years off and on with various projects. This is a very exciting project because we're launching, we had just launched this spring, this particular initiative for a targeted delivery platform, and that's the oral thin strips.
Right.
And what's happening, we have developed a patented composite material that Revive felt would be really the best candidate to serve as this delivery platform. So we've worked closely with Revive, both in terms of the research of the basic foundational aspects of the films, and then also worked with them through the university's licensing arm to give them an exclusive position on this unique composite material.
So the importance of, as I'm new to this industry and learning more and more medical methods, to me, it appears that psilocybin seems to have the least side effects, and there's been a lot of positive feedback. What's the important significance when it comes to psilocybin?
Yeah, psilocybin's a really interesting secondary compound. And, this, if you think about the secondary compounds, you can think about things such as even caffeine.
Right.
If you look at the addictiveness of these various secondary compounds, psilocybin actually falls below caffeine in an addiction level.
That's interesting.
So it's a very interesting natural product, a secondary compound to be looking at that could have very positive impacts on individuals' health and wellness, that is not going to run the same risk as other addictive substances.